to the fire, ain't nobody can stop it. Trouble in my city, but you know I'm across it. Got a 40 on my hip and I'm liable to spark it. Throw down these hits, my click is indivisible. I aim, you duck, I squeeze, now you invisible. I'm not afraid of getting physical. All these different chemicals are fogging up my visuals. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Yo, we notorious, we ain't no runners. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Yo, we some warriors, they ain't called gunners. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Put on my strap, put on the beat, put on the map, put on my team. Take out every motherfucker in between. Know what I mean? Better myself, better my aim, better my rap, better my name. Killing rappers on my hang on by their chains for the fame. Never thought I would it, now I'm running. You don't wanna follow me, I'm up in front of this. I ran in the jungle with the troops, trying to get it what it does. Battling and I ain't never lose. We some motherfucking warriors.
Hello, hello. It is Thursday, the 20th of February, and I'm once again doing Halloween things. You can't see my tabs, but I have a million Clip Studio tabs open. This is the designs that I made 2 weeks ago, which I'm still so proud of. I still haven't finished Mari's bag, but that's okay. For Billy, I finished all the colors, the line art and everything, it's all done. I want to give her more accessories, but I haven't really decided what yet. And for Mari, we have only the basics. She has a very large messenger bag, which I'm gonna give her a ton of stuff to put in it, but as I draw the pages, I'll decide what to give her, like what exactly she should have based on what she'll use, and then I'll fill the rest of the space with extra fun little things. And this other file on the left is my reference file, where I put all the random things that I use, which still needs sorting because it has too many things in it. It takes a million years to load, especially since it's 4,000 pixels high, 2,000 pixels large, and has a ton of high quality images, but that's fine. It's a problem for later. What I want to do today, I have also the file with the pages open somewhere in the list, but what I want to do first is do some ghost designs. So what I settled on for the place they're visiting, I said I didn't want to do a hospital exactly, but I think it would still be interesting to use a building that has been sort of a hospital at some point. Okay, it should be in the first few pictures then. Nope. Oh, that's another thing I want to do today. I found those folders, files, I don't really know what they're called, but like when you have a bunch of information on someone, I want to mix them together and I want both to do files for them, like as ghost hunters, what are their skills, their equipment, all of that, and also maybe a file about the place they're going to, which still needs a name. I think I have options somewhere, but my space is kind of a mess right now, so I don't know exactly where. But yes, give them a little sort of agency situation where they have official papers and everything. These are more for like, not victims, but like suspects, which is not really what I want. But yes, a mix of all of those. And yes, what I wanted for the house was something like this. So a really big house. And I think it could have transitioned from an actual private residence from someone really, really rich that can use all of these rooms to like do things and have enough money to maintain them. Then to a sort of public hospital sort of building, but not something that it would stay its entire history. And I think it would be interesting if it got abandoned at some point, lack of funds or something, maybe inheritance that didn't really work out, and so it gets like, nope, too many images, this sort of vibe to it, something that's really been abandoned for a long time, but it's still interesting to go to, like it's not empty. I've seen some documentaries about places being abandoned, fully furnished, just everything left there, including, and this blew my mind, police stations. Like one day they just closed the door and never came back with all the paperwork, evidence, everything inside. It's crazy to me that you can just leave it all there. Anyway. So yes, that's for the entrance. This sort of, not as clean, because this one is just empty, not really abandoned, I think. And the idea would be the person who currently owns the place doesn't have the money to renovate it, put it back to, I'm not going to say it's former glory, but at least a decent state where people aren't afraid to go in. And they're using the ghost hunting expeditions and everything to like make money to restore the place later. So yes, that's the idea for everything. And what I want to do today is design some ghosts for the place. I have a few pictures that are a little scary for the vibe that I want, like this sort of thing. Since I said it before, there's a lot of time in between now and Halloween, obviously, so I can do something more ambitious and detailed than I usually would for regular pages. And because of that, I want to do more backgrounds, more interesting backgrounds, especially for the inside. I want them to spend more time on the inside, because for the Valerian Manor they were outside pretty much the whole time. I hated drawing the forest. I'm very proud of the end result, but it was really annoying to draw trees and shrubs all the time. For this I would want to have interesting architecture, things like, I don't know what it's called, but the things on the ceiling, moldings? Maybe. And just a lot of cool things inside. And obviously, some ghosts. No idea what this picture is from. There wasn't any reference information with it, but there were several versions of it, like edited in a bunch of different ways. So yes, a bunch of ghosts that I want to design before, and I want them to be a little varied, not all from the same time. The Valerian ghost was like just one ghost, so it didn't really matter if it was from one time or another, because it was alone. But for this I want to have several from different times, and I don't want them to be like too obvious. I want some of them to be in the background that the girls don't even notice, but if they come back multiple times it would be more interesting. I know there's the cliche, like the kid from the hospital that died and haunts the place and believes it's still a kid and all that. I don't know if I find that very interesting, but it would be different from what we've had so far. I want a ghost from maybe a nurse or a doctor, someone that worked there, and then just random people. Because if it was a private residence first, I think people would have died there just normally. Like, that just happens when you live in a place for a long time. Like, it's occupied for a long time. So I think just regular, normal people. And yes, that's the main things I want to do today. But first I'm gonna transfer all my images to my little reference file and then do some sketching. I was on Pinterest looking at things and I was like, oh, this is so cool. What if I use this? And what if I use this? And then I had a million pictures. For the abandoned library, I'm not sure if it would be something that would be left. Because it's like, if this has been abandoned long enough, and also if it had multiple different uses, it seems a bit weird that there would be a library left, but maybe it's like something they asked for. I don't know. I think it would be cool to have a library, even though drawing all the books will take a while. I know a lot of ghost hunting things happen at night. I don't know if I want them to go only at night or like go spend the night, because that's very scary. This one I just thought was fun. It's obvious where it's been like edited, but it's still cool. That's for the house itself. I want something really big and like lots of room, lots of twists and turns. A really old house with weird shapes and interesting things. Actually, I'm gonna put that in a separate folder. I'm gonna call outside. I don't know how many shots of the outside I'll do. Definitely not as many as the inside. And I found 2 floor plans. Yes, this one is a lot more complicated, but I think it gives more options. I'm just not sure how much I want to actually like do this, because if I can, I would like to model at least parts of the house to have it be like consistent and cool. And I saw that you can make your own models in Blender and use them in Clip Studio with the line art component. So you use like certain edges to extract line art from it, and that would be really helpful. But this is a lot of rooms and a lot of things. This one is a little more simple, both in terms of shape and the amount of rooms. I'll probably end up mixing the two, to be honest. Yes, and that's the other one. And the pages, I still have everything I had before. I haven't touched them since last week. So there's only this. But that's fine. There's a lot of time before I need to really make progress on them. What is this on? Okay. It's such a random thing to fix, but it bothers me once I noticed it. I know there's a tool to locate a specific thing among the layers, but I never remember what it is, and when I need it, I'm like, oh, I can just go through it rather than looking it up. did they have for uniforms actually? Oh. Whoop. Oh, something like this. It's cute. I'm not a fan of the little hat thing. Oh, it seems very common. It also seems very precarious. It's probably pinned, but you can't see the pin in the picture, and I'd be very worried about it falling off. I also don't think it serves any purpose, because it doesn't cover all of the hair. Well, we're gonna give it to her anyway. I think she should be one of the ghosts that are just in the background, just doing her job, not noticing the new people. Completely blank uniform is probably for the best. It doesn't seem the men had a similar uniform. I'm looking at the 1900s. This is Pinterest, so it's not very accurate sources. But I'm pretty sure we're allowed to be doctors. There probably were some. I remember listening to a podcast about a woman who did just that, become a doctor. When it wasn't allowed, she wasn't allowed to study in the classes dedicated to the doctors. And she had to fight very hard for it, but I think it was a little later. I'm not entirely sure. It might have been earlier and I'm just completely misremembering. But yes, from all the pictures and drawings I can see, it seems mostly the women had a uniform. Well, we're just gonna oh, this is nice. No idea when this is from. Of course, there's no date or anything. I wish more people included information about their pins. Like, at least a rough era for the picture, maybe where it was taken, if it's from an official source, or if it's like a family picture that they have and that they just put there. Because my family has a lot of really old pictures from, well, they were all like farmers and stuff, so they didn't have a lot of money for pictures, but once it got a little more common, they have quite a lot of pictures from I'd say from the 1930s. My grandpa was born in the 40s, and there are pictures from people before him who he doesn't always know who they are even. So I think, yes, from the 1930s. And they'd probably be interesting to show life around that time. It's not like anyone is gonna recognize them. But if I did upload them anywhere, I'd include like a rough date, location, all that. Otherwise it's useless. Ooh, that surgery outfit looks horrible. There's a lot of women with skirts that are like that fall to their ankles, and that's fine. But one of them has a really long skirt that drags on the floor. That must be so impractical to work in. Ooh, a group picture. That's from the 40s apparently. Lovely quality. Okay, that's a lot more recent, so it doesn't really surprise me that they're all dressed more or less the same. With all the women at the very far back, obviously. Maybe someone in this sort of uniform as well. It's a little unclear intentionally what time it is in the comic, because they have 80s tech, 80s, 90s, along with modern things. So the 40s can be a long time ago or a very, very long time ago. Is there a more detailed one? Yes, there's this. For the specifics of the color. It gives a lot of interest to an outfit, I think. The specific color of things. But there are so many types. I never remember the names of them. forgot about saving. Oh, it's taking a long time. Did I stop? Yes, okay. I try to remember to stop boink every time I'm streaming, but sometimes I just completely forget. And it uses a lot of the power of my computer. It's not like the priority. It stops if there's something else, but just to be sure. There's a lot of complex settings and the way people optimize it, and it's too technical for me for now. If it was I looked for references of Victorian houses because I think they're really pretty. I just don't know exactly what time that is, I'll be honest. We don't have them in France. Well, we didn't have a queen, obviously. So I can never like link it to a specific time that it was like what was happening here. I think it was Napoleon. Let me check the date before I say something really wrong. Victorian era from 1837 to 1901. Oh, that's perfect then. I'm thinking of including a teenage girl from the 1800s. Mm. 1860. That's a little late. Okay, that one's pretty interesting. They're wearing dresses, so it's probably it's a party thing. 1818. Yes, that's perfect. Based on the little fashion history I know, this would still be a time where like teenage girls would be wearing like adult clothes, like women's clothes, just maybe not. I know there's this thing where like the older women will be wearing something that was very fashionable when they were younger, because it's like the style they prefer. Just like my parents don't wear the same clothes that I wear, and when I get to their age I'll still be wearing somewhat similar things to what I'm wearing now and not the latest fashion. And I know it happened as well. I don't know to what extent, because like if your reputation is very important, how much does wearing the latest fashion influence what you actually choose? No matter what your taste is. Okay, the hair thing is really complicated. Very fancy. The dresses as well, actually. Sort of a wrap thing. And then one of them has, well, two of them have flowers, and one has what looks like feathers. They fall down. They have this shape, which isn't really what I want. I'm gonna give her flowers. I saw, it was a while ago, the video that Bernadette Banner made on fabric flowers, and I thought it was so interesting. They look really cool. There's a lot of dresses. When I looked at the references for the More Than One Lifetime Valentine's thing, the dress Lucy has is in a museum, and they had like good quality pictures of it. And they also had, I'm not gonna say it was styled because it was still on a mannequin, it wasn't on a person, but it had flowers on the arm and in her hair, which is why I included them, because originally I wasn't going to. And I thought it would look really nice, and I wasn't sure why they weren't included in the other pictures, because I don't think they were real flowers. Okay, this doesn't say. It's a website dedicated to fashion, so I'm looking if they have real photos of the dresses so I can see what they would actually look like when worn and not just in pictures, like drawings. But they don't have any that look like this design. They have a ton of really good pictures though. Oh, it probably looks like this. Evening dress, 1818, 1822, perfect. So it's definitely not this shape. This is actually really cute. I hate this. I hate to wear this shape with the, I think it's called the Empire waist, where it's really, really high. I think it's so uncomfortable. And I'm very short. Well, I'm pretty short. Something like this makes me look even shorter. It's also, it looks like a sort of cuff. I was gonna say ribbon, but it's definitely not shiny. This here is, but this one doesn't look. It also falls really far in her hands. Oops. A little longer. The model doesn't look like it has shoes. Okay, we'll give her. The girls in the fashion plate have what looks like ballerines almost. Like flats, like, I don't know. Do they have a name in English? I don't know. Probably. Ballet flats? I think that's what they're called. With little bows on the top. Okay. No idea what they're made of. Doesn't really matter. So she's from the earlier part of the house when it was still lived in. She probably had some tragic story or something. If she's young enough. There's also flowers in here. The dress itself has little. It looks like dots on the picture. There's probably something else that I'm not going to include. And it has at the bottom. It also has something. It's not very clear what it is. The shape isn't very obvious. It looks like something that twists like this. But that's gonna be way too complicated to draw, so I'm just gonna make it flowers again. I don't need to make them too detailed. It's the overall shape that counts. And like adding some shadows and it will be enough. But it adds a lot of interest to the overall design. Okay. Oops. Wrong one. Something older for another ghost? Ooh, is there... in these, is there like a ballroom or something? Ground floor is this one. It's very unclear how this is made. How the layout works with the actual thing. There doesn't seem to be a ballroom. There's a lot of large rooms where you could still do things. Dining room and the library. Imagine, like, on this entire floor, the library number 8 is like one of the biggest rooms. That's the dream. Because this is outside. And 11, 12. The kitchen and the stairs to what seems like staff rooms to me. I don't know what they are. Okay, we'll say they had a dance or something in the dining room. It works. It's fine. That's 29. Gallery. Oh, okay. I don't know which rooms are where on this. I'll be really honest. But I love that the rooms on the second floor, this one, are called the O room. Like bedroom and dressing room. There's 2 bedrooms. Very fancy. Oh, and there's even the times. This is perfect. 1863, 70. These. 72 to 77, the purple parts. And in yellow, 1883. They add a lot to it compared to what they started with. The black portion was a lot smaller. Anyway, we can say they had a ball or something. It doesn't matter that much, but I like having a sort of timeline story, something that makes sense. I think it helps a lot to come up with more interesting ideas. Do I give them colors? No, I don't need to. However, I'm gonna give them a few shades. Oh my god. I hope you can't hear that. Okay, it didn't look like it was audible. Okay. Nope. This one is definitely gonna be this color. I could choose darker shades. And I know I drew the ghost from before in like pure white. But I don't know how it will look with the backgrounds that I haven't done yet, so I want to have shades ready, like picked out already, in case I need them. And if I don't use them, it doesn't matter. Nope. What was I wanting? I forgot her little head thingy. I don't know if it has a name. It probably does. And I'm gonna do her jewelry in bright white, so it stands out. Oh, I could probably do his shirt. Okay. Is there anything? Yes. These as well. I think that's all. I'm gonna add okay. Okay, that's gonna be the ghost cast for now. I think the nurse is really the one who's gonna be repeating in several shots. And for the girl, she's probably gonna be sorry, in the older parts of the house. Because I like the idea of having it built in stages and having different people in different parts. So I'll probably use that. And she's in the oldest part when it was still lived in. Then in the middle part there's the nurse just doing her job, ignoring them. I don't know if I want them to notice her. I think it would be more fun if they just don't see her. She's just doing her thing and they don't even notice. And then the doctor in one of the most recent parts, because he's definitely from later. And I think of all of them, I want the nurse to be the most famous one. I think if she appears the most, she's the easiest one to see. And more people would just have seen her by chance, like not when looking. So yes, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do the folders next. I'm gonna take a break first because I've been shrimping while doing this. And I'm gonna get myself a snack also probably. So I will be right back. Today I managed to make my coffee with the perfect amount of sugar. It's so nice. I didn't do anything different than usual, but it's just better. Okay, I've done these. I don't want to work on the house. I just don't feel like it. So I'm gonna do the folders. I'm really sleepy for some reason, even though I went to bed at like a reasonable time before midnight. Which is kind of an accomplishment for me. But I don't know. My brain just doesn't want to do it today. Alright. Gotta save everything just to be sure it won't get lost anytime. So for the info I want to include is a bunch of like things that don't really matter, like the birthplace, residence, all of that. I don't think it matters, and also I haven't decided any of the city names and all that. So I definitely want the name, the age, height, weight. We'll do estimations because numbers don't mean anything to me. Signature, no way. Biography, I think isn't very useful. But the skills, that's for the girls. For the ghosts, I'll do something different. Because, like, we don't know the skills of the ghosts. And most of them, we don't know their names. And it's not like they're just gonna say it. Notes for random things. And I want to include an equipment section, so that way like if they have specific tools and if they want to work with other people's, it's like interesting to have. Hey, was watching the stream on YouTube, then I got confused when my message went popping up. Hello, welcome. Yes, I double stream on YouTube, but I don't have the chat of both showing on the screen because Twitch doesn't allow the chat messages from another platform, and it's just not very practical to check both of them, so I mostly check Twitch. It's going pretty well. I did... Well, you probably saw if you were watching on the other platform. I did some ghost designs for the Halloween comic I'm making. Extra comic, where the girls are invited to investigate an ancient manor that was used as a hospital at some point. So I designed a ghost from the 1810s, a teenage girl, a nurse from a little later. I haven't decided on a date for her, but probably the early 1900s. I'm not sure what her uniform, exactly when her uniform is from. And a doctor from the 40s. And now I'm doing folders, files, I don't know, for all of the ghosts I'm gonna do, and also both of the girls, to show their skills, their abilities, a bunch of information about them, to have like a little record keeping in the ghost hunting club. Because so far they've only had like digital data, and they need paper. Very important to have paper in your ghost hunting operation. Oh, thank you. I think it's mostly because I saw the reference that had the house built in different stages, which is something I never really consider when imagining houses for my characters. Because modern houses are just like mostly built all at once. but it could lead to some interesting designs as well. I say that as if it doesn't mean a ton of extra research for me. For the ghosts, I'm going to include their name, their time, as in like what time they're from, an estimated age, the date of birth and death, if it's known. I think for the girl it's going to be pretty easy, because if she died in the house and the history of the people was documented, it's not very hard to find out her name, her death, all of that. But for the others it's going to be much more complicated, especially if all the records of like the people who worked there were left in there. Paper doesn't survive time very well. I think having pictures and notes, and then I don't know if it's called readings or like data for all the measurements, because you know in all the ghost hunting shows there's like the radio thing that they do, which I think is so fun, and a bunch of other things, but I want Billy to have like equipment that records temperature, light, all of that. It's mostly gonna be like gibberish because I just don't know science. I don't know any of that, but I trust her. She has it all figured out. Yeah, I like to plan my things in a lot of detail. It makes it a lot easier to make interesting things, I feel, rather than have a vague idea. I like getting to know my characters as much as possible, and before I do any, well, for this, like any pages, any planning, I do what I call character writing, personality writing, where it's just like I'm writing from their point of view, like what do they do in the day, an entry in a journal, like a diary, what they like, what they don't like, really like mundane thing that will probably not appear in the comic ever. Like the fact that Billy collects postcards doesn't impact her story in any way, but it's still interesting to know, and it can add a lot to her environment, like the looks of her room, what she looks for in stores, what she likes to decorate her space with. It's just a bunch of little things that really don't influence the plot, but add a lot to the characters as people. For the file itself, I really like the this type of folder. I don't know what they're called, like the brown paper cardboardy thing. Manila folders? Ooh, I'm gonna look that up because I'm not sure that's how it's called. Yes, manila folders. With one L. Okay, good to know. And they look... Oops. I know it's more realistic to have everything on the computer, because it's just easier to access and use. But it's so much more fun to give them folders and papers. And here we'll add a little name. And all the papers inside. And I guess once it's open, it looks like this. Okay. I've done very little cable management in my desk, and there's cable everywhere. And I'm very scared of accidentally unplugging something. Because one of the cables of my Cintiq, the HDMI cable, is, it's a very thick cable. But the way it's plugged in is not very secure, I think. And when I move it sometimes, it just unplugs randomly. And since I have two screens, everything glitches out. It's very annoying. Right, I think we'll include a picture on a little thing like this. For them, and then one page of information. Most of which will be typed out as if it's a page they printed, because it's just a lot easier to read. And I don't like writing too many things by hand. I can't keep it. I tend to like write this way and it looks stupid. And then I spend too long editing it to be straight. I think I'm gonna also include a few other pictures, because when they were in the forest, they took a lot of pictures. Well, Billy took a lot of pictures. So I think in Mari's file, she could have a lot more pictures of her that Billy took when they were outside. I think the font Comic Sans. Honestly, I could. If it looks good, I might. Because I have... Will it show up on the screen? Yes, it does. I have a font collection here for all the fonts I use for the comic usually, but most of them are for the speech bubbles, and a few are for their phones, specifically the texting on their phone, which is so annoying to format. I would love to find one of those apps people use to send like fake text conversation, because I think it's so much fun to do between characters, but they're all really bad. Or they have a ton of ads that just make it impossible to use. And I'm not against paying for an app. I don't mind at all, but I want to be able to try it first. So I said the name, age, height, weight, skills, equipment, and notes. For the notes, I'm gonna put it at the bottom. Skills and equipments are gonna be most of the page. I don't know how to write. Equipment. We'll include a little photo portion, but I don't think there will be one. The name, age, height, weight. And I could include some more info about them. I don't think it's very useful to have like identification thingies like their eye color, hair color, residence? Ooh, occupation. So they can list their degrees and the fact that they're ghost hunters. Sometimes I think about, I watched all of BuzzFeed Unsolved probably like 3 times, all of it. And sometimes I think about this screenshot that there is of the BuzzFeed website when it's the two of them introducing themselves. And it's like, oh, I'm a ghost hunter and also a producer for BuzzFeed and I do a bunch of things. And the other one is like, oh, I'm a producer for BuzzFeed and also apparently a ghost hunter. Gender doesn't really matter. Oh, that's a good point actually. I think it's still interesting to list even for the ghosts. Because if you're looking to find out who they were in their life, in official paperwork they will be listed as a certain gender, especially like older paperwork. So in the work documents for the nurse or the doctor, they'll be listed as a certain gender, and if they give you a hint maybe of their name or of their age or something, it can be really helpful to have that information, so I will add it to the list. They do have a non-binary friend, Abby, who hasn't appeared in the main story yet, but will be in the future chapters for this year, and is mentioned in the Halloween comic. She's mentioned like right here, because Abby doesn't do ghosts. Abby is terrified of ghosts and they do not want to go ghost hunting, but Billy's basically saying like, if you don't come with me, I'll have to take Abby and they will probably not have a good time. And so here will be Abby and Abby's ghost. Nothing bad will happen to Abby, of course, because they simply won't be going ghost hunting. I think for this, it would be cool to have their awkward and ugly school picture. Like, I don't know how much they do it in university in other countries, but in France, they ask us to submit a picture for the student cards they give us, the student ID. Just to prove that it's you and that you're not like giving it to your siblings, your friends, all of that. And they always look horrible. In my school, I went for 4 years, and every year I submitted a different picture, and every year they reused the very first one I submitted, which looked incredibly bad. I looked horrible in that picture. And every year I submitted a better one, and they never used it. Poor Abby, having a bunch of ghost hunter friends. Yes. Abby is an education student who is very outdoorsy, but they don't like ghosts and scary things. And they'll be friends. I'm gonna introduce them to the story and like make everyone meet in one of the next few chapters at like a school event. And they're just gonna meet at school, like regular friendship sort of situation. No ghosts involved. Okay, this looks pretty good. I'm gonna make a separate file for it. New document. What was that for? India is not much better. For the school thing? A4? A4 is probably good. 3,000 by 2,000. Okay, yes. A4 is definitely good. It's India, so I guess it tracks back to the university. I have actually very little idea of how higher education works in India, I'll be honest. My only friend from India is doing university in Germany, so my knowledge is very limited. Ooh, 25 is gonna be the wrong size. Okay. If I were to do... Okay, that's pretty good. We're gonna add a lot of stabilization so it looks clean. And I'm gonna layer everything. Because Billy will have less pictures. She's the one taking them. Well, when she goes on her own, obviously, she doesn't take pictures of herself. And when she's with Mari, at least in the beginning, she's still the one taking pictures. I think it would be interesting for Mari to learn later, since she doesn't like to be on camera. I'm just an engineer, so it's standard. 4 years for undergrad and 2 years for postgrad. Okay. So closer to the American system then. Because the French, and I think European in general system, is to do 3 years of a, we call it a license, but it's the equivalent of a bachelor's degree, I think. And then 2 years of a master, and then however many years you need for a PhD. We're gonna put it in here. Okay. If I do end up making any more ghost hunters, I'll give them a file like this. For art, I think it's probably the same for public school, but a lot of art schools are private. Which is very annoying. I wish it wasn't all private. I was very lucky to be able to go to private school without taking a million loan. But I had gone to public school before, public university, for graphic design, which I'm terrible at, web development, which I'm also terrible at, and filmmaking in a way, but we did mostly advertising. And I was okay at that. But it was a separate type of degree that is only 2 years long. Oh, and we also did like social media and communication, but I was also not great at that. And I didn't enjoy it much. Because all the social media things I did were for a company who's like, the service they did I had no interest in, so it wasn't very much fun, and they were also very unprepared to have an intern. So I do not miss that, but it was pretty useful for just knowing good practices, how social media works from a brand point of view, not just a general user point of view. Nope. I will really need to name the layers for this one. Okay, the pin. No. Is there one on this one? Yes. Okay. Probably gonna be easier to copy this one. Okay. Probably should have done it here instead of YouTube. Oh, that's very kind of you to do. Thank you so much. You're officially my first donation. That's very sweet of you. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna do Mari first. And I can hide the sketch. Very good. Do I have an awkward panel of Mari from the very beginning? I probably do. Pages, export. I used to draw her so different. Oh, it doesn't look the same at all. Okay. Need to remember the line art size. Just so she doesn't look different than the folder itself. I definitely used to draw her hair shorter. It's interesting. Awkward school photo. Very good. And for the other pictures, in the church, they don't have a camera, I don't think. No, they have only other equipment, but they have almost nothing. It's mostly so I know what they're wearing exactly. That's the first day. I technically gave them like 2 outfits that were very different in vibes. And I like the other one better, but I'm gonna give her this one for the photo. That's from like during the day, not at night. She's definitely looking at the map so they don't get lost. I haven't decided if they which one of them is good at navigation and which one of them is horrible at it. But there's definitely gonna be one of each. I am terrible at any kind of navigation without a map. I cannot be trusted to find my way back anywhere, even if we did the trip like less than an hour ago. I will get lost. Any more outfits planned for the cast? Yes, so many. For the... Basically, they have a current look to them. Okay. For the Halloween thing, they obviously have outfits that I made that were very fun to work on. And that's going to be their main exploration outfit. But that's in a long time. And that's when they're a bit more confident in their style. Because currently, Mari especially wears a lot of very baggy clothes, very shapeless things, because she has no confidence. Zero. Mari's self-esteem is like underground. It's so low. But as time passes and as she gets more confident and more, she likes herself more, she's gonna start wearing more interesting things. And in the very first comic I did for them, I'm gonna show you a page. They had really fun outfits. And Mari especially had this. What's the best page to show it? This is their original outfit, where Billy has her usual jacket that she keeps at all times, and like her skirt and top that's like what she wears often. I also gave her like a sort of high socks, but I haven't given them to her anymore. I just don't know. It usually doesn't fit her outfits. But for Mari, I want something more like this, which is still sort of not very fitted clothes, but that have a lot more personality. Because for now, she wears like black and gray hoodies with nothing on them, no logos, no nothing. And for the future I want her to have more fun things, still in very dark colors. And the shirt has like stripes and more things with designs as well. So she has more fun with her outfits without changing her style completely. It just takes her a long time to get there, because as I said, her confidence is really low. And one thing she has is she has 2 necklaces here. She has her usual one that she wears right now, which she's had for a long time and she wears just all the time. And for Billy, she has her jacket with 1 pin and 1 patch for now. And later Mari will gift her the second badge, I think, and the second patch she will win in a competition, and she will gift Mari the second necklace. I haven't decided exactly what's on the second necklace. I want to look more into the meaning of certain stones, like what not values but like meaning is associated to them. And also I would really like to have a piece of a rock from space. I don't think you can get like moon rocks anywhere, but I know that some brands sell like little pieces of asteroids, I think it is, and that would be really cool to have and really meaningful coming from Billy. So yes, that's the plan for the outfits, and each chapter I give them a new one, and when the day changes in the chapter I also give them a new outfit. Because it was my favorite part of cartoons growing up, when the Totally Spies changed their outfit really often. Even though I would never wear anything they would wear. Yes, exactly. Because it shows the progression for Billy, not so much because she's already confident and she knows herself and her style, but Mari really doesn't. And with all the ghost hunting and being brave and doing things she's not used to but that are pushing herself, she's gonna change very much. And I also have, is it in this? I think it's in this file. I did for Valentine's a little dance animation where they're wearing this, which is a lot more simple because I was animating it and it was difficult. And a while ago, like a long time ago, I did these references for outfits that they could wear. It was mostly to give myself a better idea of what their style is, what they like, what they're comfortable wearing. So Billy has no problem with like tight clothing, revealing things, not a problem. And for Mari I did too, and it's a lot more basic. This one is the outfit I want her to ultimately go towards. And the others are just really simple, like at-home things. And this one, which she's really uncomfortable in that dress. And she would never wear it unless someone made her. It also looks really bad with the brown background instead of white. Hi G, yes I did wake up a while ago, actually. At 7, like an adult, being responsible and everything. It took me a million years to get out of bed, but that's a different story. Okay. Be uncomfy to exposed shoulder and make me unsee. It's it definitely takes some getting used to. Whoops. I don't like wearing that kind of top because I burn very easily. I do not tan, I go from white to red very quickly. But sometimes in summer it's like the only comfortable thing you can wear. And she will have to wear them eventually when it gets too warm. but I think she would wear mostly really oversized t-shirts when it's really warm. In a good middle between comfortable but not revealing. Cooked prawn, yes. Yes, honestly. It didn't used to happen when I was a child. It didn't happen. I would just tan normally. I just like having 50 layers of clothing at all times. Probably why I enjoy jackets a lot. Oh, you and G are gonna get along great in the jacket department. I do enjoy my jackets as well, but layering clothes is complicated to me because it never really goes well together. Like, all the colors are different and it looks sort of odd. I'm like, oh, this isn't the same black. So I bought a few thermal shirts, like the really warm kind, and I just wear that. With other clothes on top, of course, because I'm still cold, but... I said yes. One thing I always have now also is gloves. I got a pair of like undergloves that you wear under your regular ski waterproof ones, and they're the layer that keeps you warm because it doesn't protect from any water whatsoever. And it's been so good to have because I live in the city. There's no snow. There hasn't been any snow this year, but it's still really cold. I had another pair, but they stayed in storage for a little too long. They weren't mine originally, and they were just falling apart, like disintegrating. Not even at the seams, just in the middle of the palm portion. It was so weird. I like turtlenecks because I feel covered in them, even the neck. I didn't know you would wear them. Doesn't it get too warm to wear them? I don't wear them because I feel like it's choking me all the time. It's not, but it just feels weird. Oh. A fear of vampires. Have you met many vampires, G? What random person is gonna bite your neck? It's not too warm, I just have terrible cold tolerance. Yeah. Well, you live in one of those countries that gets sunlight regularly. So. Isn't that the same thing? And anyway, vampires live in countries where there's no sun, so you're safe from them. I'm curious how you know so much about vampires. Personal experience, maybe? Okay, okay. Let's not get too salty. Also, I did see what you sent me, but I saw it at like 11:30 at night and my brain was not on to answer. But I have not forgotten. I'll figure out what to put on the map later. I know I made a map of the manor grounds, but it was more like a thing you give to tourists that come to the house to show them what there is to do and to see. I don't think it would be very useful for orientation. When I was a kid, we used these kinds of maps for skiing, because we didn't have the pass that allowed us to go everywhere, so we had to be very careful not to end up somewhere we couldn't leave. But in real life, I just use my phone now. Okay, one thing I forgot. My grandpa had a book of maps with all of France inside. So it'd be like, this is one page, and it would be like, to go in this direction, you go to page 210. To go in this direction, it's the next page. To go in this direction, it's 457. And I was so lost. He was driving and I had to help him like find the way, and I was like, oh, what is this? It's a 900 pages break, and I have to figure out where we are, which I had no idea, and where we're going, which I had a little idea, and how to get there. Because I didn't understand the concept of like, you have your starting point, you have your destination, but there aren't any signs. From A to B, you have C in between, and you go this, and then this. But no one explained that to me. And just, it was like, we're going there. Help me find the city in the middle. And I was like, what's the point? What is this useful for? The thing about kids here is that they don't care about the law and drive bikes everywhere. There's a lot of, I think there's a lot of it everywhere, but I grew up in the mountains, so we couldn't do that. Do you drive on the same side, though? I'm not allowed to drive, so. Also, one time we went to Italy. Neither me, my sister, or my grandpa spoke any Italian at all. Nothing. And we got very lost on the highway, which was very stressful. For this, we're gonna give her that one. Drive on the left side. Yeah, we drive on the right. You inherited the English driving thing. Which I should have expected, to be honest. Thankfully, I live in the city, so I don't need to be able to drive. Okay, and then most of the roads here, one lane though, or most people go from lane to lane. That sounds so scary. What do you mean go from lane to lane? Is that even allowed? Okay, I got tagged in something on Discord. I was looking. I said it before, I think, but I'm helping a friend with an animation project, which I'm very excited about. And we did tests, like test shots, last week, a week and a half ago, about that. I do cleanup, and it was very easy to do because the files are very clean, the sketch is very nice. And someone else did the colors, and it looked so good. And they just sent us more information. So I'm very excited about that. This country is dangerous to drive in. Yeah, I've heard about that before. Do you also get the newer cars that are huge? Because I was looking at someone looking at like the cars in America, doing like a comparison between recent cars and older ones and the size increase. And we don't do that a lot in France because there are limitations on the weight you're allowed to drive with a standard license. I'm from the same server doing sound design. Oh, I had no idea. There are too many people to keep track of. Do you have the same... Hang on, do you have the same name and I'm just an idiot? Probably. Okay, Discord is fighting me again. I will check it out later. You can just add me as a friend if you want. For Billy. Are you allowed glasses in pictures for idea? Okay, apparently you can wear glasses, just not sunglasses. That's fine. It would be weird to draw her without her glasses. It would look like Delilah, which is not ideal. I was so confused when I was looking back at the pages yesterday, I think. I was like, wait, did I forget her glasses? But no, that's her sister. And I think it was a page that was already out, so I was like, oh no. I'm gonna have to go back and change it. But no. Regarding the cars, most people use small cars here. Okay. That's for the better. But the SUVs are slowly rising. I think they are everywhere. I also think they're terribly ugly. I really like the design of really old American cars. I think from the 60s and 70s. 60s probably. They look really cool. They have interesting shapes. But I also know they're made of solid metal. And if you crash into something, the car will be fine, but you probably won't. And I just think they look so cool. Okay, for the photo for Billy. I think the one at the back, I'm just gonna give her this one for now. And it's going to be a shitty phone picture that Mari took somewhere. In the forest, maybe? I don't think she would take pictures since they have the camera. But in the church, that could be interesting. Especially since it's the first place they go to. Big antique fan, huh? Yes. Absolutely. You have no idea how much old shit I like and would love to have. And the things I would do for a cool, like an old apartment in the city I live in. Some of them look insane. They're so good. And like the chance to live there and decorate that. Yes, I would do so much for that. I hate the modern white box of a house. I think they're really boring and sad. And the apartment I currently live in is basically a white box, which is very hard to do anything cool with. Especially since it got the landlord special of horrible paint everywhere. Oh, that looks bad. I'm not editing pages. I said I wouldn't change anything and I won't. I think I'm gonna give them a candle kind of thing. But it's economical. I know, but it's boring. I know it's like cheaper to build and all of that, and just easier to sell to the widest number of people because it's simple and you can do quote unquote anything with it. But it's so boring. When we go to my grandfather's house, it's in a very small village. Think like 200 people, one school, nothing else. When we go there, there's a specific house where there's windows that are really small squares. It's like this. And each piece of glass is an individual piece linked by metal. And I think it looks so cool, and I always tell my mom, like, this looks so good, I would love to have that. And her only comment is, it must be so hard to clean. Yes, probably. And when I would be cleaning it, I'd be like, oh, this is so annoying. But in the end, I'd be happier that it looks really good all of the time. And I just deal with the annoying cleaning. Did I just hear a siren? Yes. There are 2 hospitals, one at each end of my street. So there are ambulances very, very often. They don't always have a siren, but they very often do. And I just don't notice them anymore. I forgot to save again. Which is not great considering the size of the file. If it needs to do recoveries, it will be really annoying. Bienvenue Coco. Malheureusement, tu avais raison. Aya ne s'est pas réveillée. Je suis désolée. Surtout pour moi, vu que je croyais tellement fort en elle, et voilà. And thank you to both of you for following. It's very nice. What is she wearing in this one? What's her overall outfit? Okay, the most basic thing. Also, I did have a color for her shoes. Damn, I gave it a different one for the animation. Oh well. No one will know. Globalement, oui. Je fais la plupart de mon contenu en anglais. Sur internet en tout cas. Mais j'ai pas fait d'études ou de trucs spécifiques. J'ai juste regardé une quantité indescriptible de séries quand j'étais au collège et au lycée. Parce que je n'avais pas de vie. Et je ne jouais pas aux jeux vidéo. Comme certains. Gotta catch a class. I'll see you at the table read. Probably have fun drawing. Thank you. Thank you for hanging out. I will be seeing you very soon then for the reading. Very excited for the project. Have a good day. Coucou Chacha. Comment ça va en ce bon matin? Ah bah ton cours il doit être fini du coup. Ouais, Aya, je crois qu'elle dort encore. Hein. Bientôt, ouais. Si tu le dis. Moi je croyais si fort en elle. Je montre à mon élève. Ah, c'est gentil. J'espère que ton élève est très impressionné par ma progression un peu lente. Est-ce que j'avais... Ah non, j'avais pas de truc pour les bougies. Bon, bah très bien. Et pour la deuxième photo, pour le moment, je vais rien lui faire. Peut-être que j'en rajouterai une quand j'aurai fait les prochains chapitres. Selon là où elles vont. Je vais pas faire un décor exprès. Ah mais ça va faire qu'elle porte la même tenue. Bon c'est pas grave. It's fine. Du coup, je me suis bien inspirée des cartes que t'as fait pour tes élèves, Chacha. enfin tes personnages. Et je leur ai fait des petites photos pareil. Mais si je fais un truc que j'avais décidé de faire quand j'ai fait les designs. Oula. Pour ça. En gros, pour leur tenue, je les ai fait. Pour Marie, surtout, je voudrais qu'elle ait une bouteille avec des stickers dessus. Et qu'un des stickers, ce soit quelque chose par rapport à leur université. Sauf que pour le moment, j'ai 0 identité graphique pour l'université. Pas de nom, logo, couleur, rien du tout. Et si je finis par faire des trucs, je leur ferai sûrement des cartes étudiantes aussi, qui vont avec le reste. Mais pour ça, bah, il faut que je leur choisisse genre un nom et tout. Une des nombreuses choses sur ma liste. Après, il y a des trucs qui peuvent être sympas parce que ma soeur qui était en Allemagne l'année dernière, son université faisait du merch. Mais c'était pas comme ce que nous on avait, c'était pas que des objets, ils avaient beaucoup de trucs. Et surtout beaucoup de vêtements et d'objets de tous les jours. Genre des sacs, des cahiers, des trucs, des machins. Et je trouvais que c'était assez intéressant. Et j'aimerais bien leur donner un truc du style. Avoir un peu plus l'idée américaine de l'université avec tout son petit merch, le nom un peu stylé. Et bon bah, faut faire l'université quoi. Surtout que pour le programme scolaire de Billy, Marie j'ai pas trop regardé parce que j'ai pas trop fait de détails. Mais Billy, je lui ai pris un programme du MIT. Donc bon. Faut quand même que ce soit un peu une grosse université, un truc un peu conséquent. Ouais. Pour Marie, il faudrait sûrement que je lui trouve des détails aussi pour ses cours et ses trucs, mais bon. C'est un peu vague, ses études pour le moment. J'ai mis en économie et j'ai dit voilà. Elle fait de la finance. Et j'ai trouvé une vidéo d'un youtubeur que j'aime bien qui s'appelle How Money Works, qui parle de tout un tas de trucs financiers assez intéressants et il fait ça de manière très déprimante par contre. Qui explique ce que font les gens dans les banques, les trucs d'investissement. Genre les banques où ils font des mergers, des choses comme ça. Et je trouvais ça assez intéressant. Et je me dis que pour le moment, ce serait un peu vers ça que Marie, elle se dirige. Même si ça l'intéresse pas du tout, globalement. Mais qu'elle a pas d'autre idée. Et on verra après si je lui fais faire autre chose. Oh, her face is gonna be so small. It's gonna look really funny from this. Ankle. She does look a little funny. It's fine. I think there's a rug in part of the room. At least at the entrance for sure. I have another page with it. Didn't I have? Oh yes, okay. It's not exactly a rug. It also probably wouldn't be at this part. Why is there a missing line here? Oh. And that page is really old as well. Oh well, too bad. Oh, maybe it's because when I did the scroll version. Wrong layer. The pages I did yesterday, I finished in the afternoon. And so the only thing left with everything I did is to format it for the vertical comic. And it takes me a million years every time. Every chapter I say, oh, I'm gonna do it as I go. Like every time I finish a page, I'm gonna transfer the panels, and then I don't. And I get to the end like, oh no. Now I have to transfer every panel. Like, yes, obviously. No. And every time I do it, it makes me think how I would like to reformat my first comic. But then I do that and I'm like, oh, I won't. I don't know how much overlapping panels I have in the first comic, but I definitely didn't draw the whole thing when I have overlapping panels. And going back now would look so different. Between the main comic and the extras, there's already a huge difference. Is that the second color, I think? Ooh, there's gonna be some more sirens soon. The firefighters are right across the street. And not in the hospital, in an actual building. Oh no. It's so weird every time I go spend time anywhere else, like a few days. I'm like, oh, it's so silent. It's so weird. It mostly bothers me at night because I'm used to like the sounds of the city. There's always something. I don't live in a very loud part of it, but it's still like there's cars pretty much all the time and everything. And where my grandpa specifically lives, there's nothing. No noise. There's like 2 cars per hour. It's the white base, okay. Candles don't have a color. This is one, I think. Yes. What? Oh, it's on the background? Okay. That's fine. I'm gonna put it in here. I should name my layers. Naming the text might take me a while. Naming the text. Writing the text. Her skirt is white. Her shoes, I think they're black. Like the third color. Oops. Alright, so here it's a picture. For the notes, some of it will be written by hand. Most of it will be printed, but some of it. Okay. I thought I accidentally got rid of the wrong layer. All I know is that Billy is taller than Mari. But like specific numbers, I have no idea. For their equipment, I might just look up existing equipment. Like if I were to open a ghost hunting YouTube channel right now, what equipment would I get? I don't know. Also, this sort of stuff, this sort of tech always has the most impronounceable names you've ever seen. It's like they mashed their keyboard and added one at the end to like, this is V1 and we'll do 15 more. The skills. Ghost hunting itself isn't a skill. We're gonna put the scientific methods and reading equipment. The thing is, Billy has a lot of equipment she doesn't use anymore. Listing it all is not realistic. I'll probably list the things she's used in chapters. Oh, it means I have to give them names. Oh, whatever. Yep, that's another siren. I was hoping we wouldn't be able to hear them, but I am right next to the window. There's no way Mari is listing Ghost Hunter. For the equipment she has her laptop, her phone. I think that's it. If later they end up doing more photos with Billy on camera and Mari taking them, I'll probably get her, like, make her get a camera. Maybe from her parents? I don't know if they would have a good enough camera to use. Billy has a... what are they called? DSLR camera? Yes. I have one and I think it's the most wonderful thing to use to take pictures. If only it wasn't so heavy, I would take it everywhere with me. But yes, she has one of those. Are there ghost hunting lenses? There probably are. Ghost hunting camera lens. No. Oh, that is so disappointing. DSLR. Oh, well, the ideal lens to use while ghost hunting is a wide-angle lens from the website photomagx.com. Well, that's good to know. Night vision light, yeah. I guess I could give them extra equipment for lights and more specific cameras. The thing is, a lot of modern equipment is video equipment rather than photo, which makes sense, but still. I don't want them to take videos. I'll just get them a fancy lens. One of the cool ones. Maybe a black and white camera? I was looking again into black and white DSLR cameras. I just think it's interesting. It's definitely out of my budget forever. But I found I think it was an American shop selling modified cameras to have black and white only. That was very cool. They were still very expensive, but not as expensive as dedicated ones, which I thought was interesting considering it's the price of the original camera plus the work they did on it. But it's also an option, and I think something they could have. An investment, but if they're serious about it. Okay, and for this one, okay, I think that's good enough for today. I didn't do everything I'd planned. I don't have all the ghosts I listed at the beginning, but that's fine. I'm really happy with this file thingy. I'm gonna do the text off stream because it's gonna be really boring. And it's gonna take me ages for sure. Thank you to everyone who came to hang out. It means a lot to me. I will be streaming again next week. On Monday I will probably do animation. Maybe I will do comic, I'm not sure. So if you want to see that, I will be there next Tuesday. Not Monday, Tuesday. I hope you all have a good day and I will see you very soon. Goodbye!